Hey Knights, how's it going? I just got done watching the new Yu Yu Hakusho live action series, and I have to say, overall, I was impressed. I liked it. I'm probably going to be watching it 2 or 3 more times. For anybody who doesn't know, Yu Yu Hakusho is more of a old school style anime. I remember watching it back in the early 2000s and possibly late 90s on Toonami on Cartoon Network. I think that's when it came to the US. It was also in Shonen Jump magazine. Essentially, Yu Yu Hakusho is about a young middle school boy. He's kind of a punk, a rebel. He skips school. He gets into fights. He dies getting hit by a car, pushing a small boy out of the way and saving the small boy's life. He stands there as a ghost over his dead corpse and is approached by the Grim Reaper, Botan, who explains to him that he wasn't supposed to die that day, that the spirit world never would have expected that a punk-ass kid like him would save a small child's life, and so his death is kind of like a blip, it wasn't supposed to happen. Think Loki, he's deviant from the correct timeline, so to speak. And because of this, they offer Yusuke, this middle school boy, a sort of deal where he can come back to life as long as he agrees to be a detective for the spiritual world, hunting down things that go bump in the night that aren't supposed to be among mortals on Earth. That's sort of the synopsis for the whole thing. Now, don't let me undersell you on this. This anime is a big deal. It is huge. It is one of the most successful anime of all time. Okay? It has a massive fan base even to this day. And so when everybody heard that Netflix was going to be creating a live action version of it, it was big news. For some, it was good. For a lot, it was bad. They were like, oh no, it's going to ruin my childhood. They're going to destroy everything. But on the other hand, the success of the live action adaptation of One Piece by Netflix gave some people some optimism. So some people were ready to see what's going to happen. And this is what did. Originally, I think we were told that the Netflix series was going to be 10 episodes long. Since then, it's released, and it turned out to only be 5 episodes. Now, the One Piece live action, it was only 8. Yu Yu Hakusho is paired down to 5, so maybe it's not too big of a deal. We aren't sure what exactly is going to be included in those 5 episodes. Well, I mean, we do now, because, it's out there. But at the time, we didn't know what was going to be in them. So I think what a lot of people expected was that with it being only 5 episodes, it was probably just going to touch on Yusuke being a punk, Yusuke saving a kid's life getting hit by a car, and Yusuke's trials and tribulations seeing a Ebenezer Scrooge, Three Ghosts style, look at the people in his life's response to his death sort of thing. And then there's this whole arc with a spiritual egg that has to hatch into like a creature, and that's part of his coming back to life journey. And that maybe in 5 episodes it would end with him being resurrected and coming back to life. I mean, it took 5 episodes in the show, so why wouldn't that take 5 episodes in the live action? Okay, but realistically, that was never going to happen. You weren't going to release a 5-episode series and the big climax is him coming back to life and not doing anything when the show is about a spiritual detective who fights demons. Okay, so we already knew it was going to progress farther than that. They were much more ambitious. What they decided to do instead was condense the first 66 episodes of the anime, somewhere around 27 hours of footage, down to a little over 4 hours. Let's compare this to One Piece. One Piece had 8 episodes, in which they covered about 45 episodes of the One Piece anime. So both are impressive, but the Yu Yu Hakusho one is more condensed than the One Piece condensation. Condensation? We're going to use it. We're going to go with it. This goes through Yusuke being a normal kid punk, Yusuke dying saving a child, Yusuke witnessing his family's reaction to his death, agreeing to take the deal to come back to life, and in exchange, he has to be the servant of the spirit world. Yusuke retrieving magical artifacts stolen by these 3 demons, and in the process, befriending 2 of them. Yusuke going to fight the 4 Saint Beasts. Yusuke helping rescue one of those demon friends he made previously's sister, who's being held captive, and meeting Toguro. Then going through a demonic fighting tournament in order to defeat Toguro. Also, I skipped one. there's a training arc where he has to become the apprentice of Genkai and defeat this demon who's mastered 1,000 techniques. It covers way too much for me to explain in this. So how do I think they handled jam-packing 66 episodes into 5? I think they did a pretty fucking good job. Don't get me wrong, I have complaints. I have big complaints, because I am a lifetime fan of this series. I am one of the biggest Yu Yu Hakusho fans ever. I promise you. There are some changes they made I hate with a passion. But in the context of their constraints, I am super happy with it. The fight scenes are fucking fantastic. Some of the best fight scenes I have seen in anything. They are great. They are well choreographed. They're incredible. Just look. The actors, originally, I was a bit up in arms about the costumes. They deviated a little bit from the design, but as far as cohesion with everything else, they look fantastic. When you actually see them in the live action, they look great. I'm not a big fan of Kurama's wig. I think that the hair was a little bit bad on Kurama, but other than that, I think it was amazing. I think they did a great job. I think it was an excellent translation to a more modern setting. It looks like they modernized their styles, which is why you don't see Kuwabara in a straight-up 80s style Reeser Pompadour, is because they're making it a little bit more modern while still trying to stay incredibly true to the overall characters' personas and costumes and everything like that. I think they did a good job. I really think they did a good job. When you see it all and how it melds together with everything else, I think you're going to be impressed. I think it was really good. One choice you're going to have to make when you watch it, or you can watch it multiple times, is whether to watch the sub versus the dub. And here are my thoughts. I originally watched the dubbed version just because I was really curious how they were going to go for the voice acting. They don't use the voice actors from the English anime, and so I really wasn't sure how it was going to go. Overall, at first, it really took me out. I was a little bothered by the desync from the lips and the voice dialogue, but I think the voice actors did a really good job of capturing the personalities of the characters. I was good with it. It does make it a little bit cartoonish hearing this anime style dialogue in English with slightly desynced lips. So I feel like the overall quality of the product is better if you watch it in sub. If you hate subs, watch it in dub, but I do feel personally as though the overall quality of the show is significantly improved by using the subtitles and allowing the original Japanese voices to really shine and sell the dialogue. There's some big negatives, as I mentioned before, and I'm gonna try and touch on those without spoiling the story, but suffice to say, there is one big, epic, important moment in the anime that is reposted everywhere. I think fans of the series will know what I'm talking about. That is incredibly impactful in the anime, that is sort of trivialized and doesn't really have a big impact and is confusing if you have no context for it and this is your first introduction to the Yu Yu Hakusho series. Secondarily, there are some really big, impactful, emotional moments which they try to have in this series, and I don't think that they're acted poorly. I think they do a really good job. The problem isn't the acting, the problem isn't the delivery, the problem is that it's 5 episodes. So it's really hard to get your audience invested and to feel a deep emotional connection and to understand this sense of an established, important relationship between the characters when you've only been introduced to them like 1 episode ago. Any strong, impactful, emotional scenes fall short because the audience doesn't have investment in those characters that they would have had if they had watched the anime and had seen these characters for 40 episodes over a period of almost a year. It's really hard to build that emotional bond and investment in 2 episodes. If you look at the fact that they only have 5 episodes that they're trying to condense this all into, I think you have to give it to them because there isn't a whole lot they could have done better in order to create that emotional weight. And touching on that, what do I think? This is probably everybody's biggest critique. Why the hell would you take 66 episodes and condense them into 5? Here's what my opinion is. Here is my honest opinion. You can tell that the writers, the cast, the production team, everybody involved really cared. and was really passionate. You can tell that they were fans of this series. You can tell that a lot of love was poured into this. I imagine, since we were told originally that it was going to be 10 episodes and it ended up being 5, that they probably had budget cuts, they probably had constraints, they had a certain amount of money to work with, and they wanted to use it in the best way that they could. With an anime adaptation like this, there is no guarantee for a season 2. There is no way that they can invest and just hope to be able to bring out the potential of a lengthy live action series. The likelihood of it happening is virtually zero. So here's what they did do. They took the coolest, most amazing, most important parts of a series that was near and dear to my heart, that was a huge part of my childhood, and they made sure that we were able to see them. They curated the best moments. They handpicked what they thought would be the coolest things for us, and they made it work. Given the constraints that they had, given the budget that they had, this production team, they pulled out a W, I think. They did great. They did something amazing. I am so happy that this exists. I am so happy that the legacy of Yoshiro Togashi is continuing on, that new fans of the series are still seeing new things from Yu Yu Hakusho, and I hope it continues. I love this series, and I'm over the moon. I never thought this would happen. I'm so happy that it did. Sure, I have critiques, I have complaints. I wish Netflix had given them more money. I wish they had greenlit like 40 episodes. That would have been great. But you know what? I'm happy this exists. I'm gonna take what I can get. I thought it was wonderful. I'm probably gonna watch it 5 more times. I encourage all of you to do the same. I encourage you guys to let Netflix know we want more of this shit. I want a season 2. I want to see Chapter Black. I want to see the Three Kings arc. The only way that'll happen is if we let Netflix know that we want more Yu Yu Hakusho. Also, by the way, when you are rewatching, keep an eye out for Easter eggs, because they're fucking everywhere in this. There's so much cool stuff if you pay really close attention to the details. If you see any or remember any, put them in the comments below so I can go look for them too. Appreciate it. All right, peace. Hey Knights, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. For more awesome content, catch me live on Twitch or follow me on Twitter. Just search Nyraven or visit nyraven.com. Thanks for the support, and see you next time.